By the end of this video, you are going to have your perfect morning routine. A morning routine that allows you to jump out of bed, excited and motivated. And the only way for you to do that is if you craft the morning routine yourself. So you shouldn't view this video like a normal video. View it like you've just walked into a Build-A-Bear workshop and you're now picking and crafting your perfect morning routine that allows you to reset. Because this is the second video in a 7-day challenge to reset your mind for 2021. So if you're new here, go back and click on the description for the first video so that you can really reset your mind with us on this 7-day challenge. And there's going to be 7 specific steps for you to follow in order to craft this. And the first step is actually to not to think about morning routines, but instead think about daily routines. What would you rather have? A productive and happy morning or a productive and happy day? You see, your morning routine should be used to set you up for your daily routine. Instead of just focusing exclusively on the first part of your day, let's try and make the whole day incredible. So first step is to think about daily routines. Second step is to identify the objective of the daily routine. Now, most people make a massive mistake at this point. They either copy someone else's morning routine, which I've done before for videos, or they just start chucking things that sound good. They start chucking in mindfulness meditation and gratitude and cold showers and the Wim Hof method. Just start chucking a bunch of random things in. But I've got this theory of general productivity and general satisfaction. And that means what's productive for you doesn't mean that's productive for somebody else. We all have unique goals, and therefore the things that we should be doing with our time should vary depending on what you want. For example, for some people, meditation or breakfast may be incredibly productive, but for other people, eating breakfast may be a distraction. It may affect the digestion in your food. Maybe you like to wake up first thing in the morning and just get straight into deep work. So there is no real thing as objectively productive tasks, only relatively productive tasks dependent on what you want. So what is your objective for this daily routine? Is it productivity? Is it life satisfaction? Or is it something specific like writing 100 pages for your book? Productivity is measured by whether or not it gets you closer towards your goal. And if you don't have an objective, then there is no such thing as productivity. So define your objective now. And for the rest of the video, we're going to be using the objective of resetting your mind, as that's part of this challenge. And the next step is to figure out how you should best be spending your time in order to reach your objective. What we're going to do is we're going to zoom out on your time and view your daily routine as a pie chart. This allows us to really analyze what is the best use of your time to reach your objective, and allows you to almost like you're struggling to get through a jungle, and instead of just hacking your way through blindly, you climb a tree, you zoom out, you think what is the best route to take, you come down, and then you start following the easy route. That's what we're going to be doing by zooming out on the pie chart. And as you'll see, there's a few different parts to this pie chart. You'll be going to bed and you'll be sleeping. Then you'll be doing your morning routine, you'll be working. At the end of the day, you'll be relaxing and then doing your evening routine. And then finally, you'll be sleeping again. And we start this pie chart by identifying the time that you want to be going to sleep. It's much better to figure out when you want to be going to sleep instead of when you want to be waking up. Because once you've figured out when you want to be going to sleep, then you can figure out with the right amount of sleep that you need, when is the time to wake up. Instead of saying, I'm going to be waking up at 5 a.m., but you get to bed at midnight every night, then you're going to be sleep deprived. If we start with when you want to go to sleep, we can then have a set sleep time and a set wake up time, but still have the correct amount of sleep. So you should set bedtime alarms instead of wake up alarms. Because if you're setting a wake up alarm, then by definition, you're sleep deprived, because you haven't woken up when your body naturally will wake up. So for me personally, the time I try to go to bed, the bedtime alarm I have set is 11 p.m. I then sleep around 9 hours, which means I wake up at 8 a.m. and my morning routine takes around half an hour. So we can just go ahead and pencil all of these things into the pie chart. Then it's about doing the main thing, achieving your objective. For most people, they then relax at the end of the day. Then there's the nighttime routine and then the sleep. But this is all pretty vague. We want to figure out what times we want to be doing each of these things. And this is going to greatly vary from person to person. If you're a sprinter, the most efficient use of your time is to wake up, say spend 2 hours sprinting, and then spending the rest of the day recovering. That's the best use of your time. So you've got to figure out what is the perfect balance between working, reaching my objective, relaxing, and evening routine. And this is going to be done through your own instinct and through trial and error, but what you'll find is it's not going to be so obvious. It's not going to be 8 hours of sleep, 8 hours of work, and 8 hours of relaxing. In reality, it's probably going to be something like 7.53 hours of sleep and 8.92 hours of work, and then the rest relaxing. Balance isn't found in round numbers. And remember, these numbers are going to change on a day-to-day basis. And that's why I'm going to be drawing fuzzy lines between these things to show that they're subject to change. So at this step, it's to figure out roughly what ratios do you want to be spending your day? How do you want to divide this apart? Then starting with your bedtime alarm, work forwards from that to have a rough idea of how you want to structure your day. And now we've laid out the rough structure, it's about figuring out what components do we want to put into each of these structures. And for the rest of the video, I'm going to hone deeply into morning routines and kind of ignore the evening routines or keeping the main thing or relaxing. But you can apply the exact same logic that I'm following for morning routines to the rest of your daily routine. So let's build the perfect morning routine. What happens at this point is most people go on YouTube and they copy somebody else's 1 hour morning routine, or they just copy and paste a morning routine. But again, this is the wrong way to go about it. The next step is to define the objective of the morning routine, but luckily the step is very easy because the objective of a morning routine is primarily to set you up to achieve the objective of the daily routine, to set you up to do the main thing. And step 5 is to remember whatever your morning routine is, you've got to make it easy. The best morning routine is the one that you stick with. And copying some massively difficult morning routine with 12 different steps onto it may be good, but it's going to greatly reduce the likelihood of you actually sticking with the morning routine. So keep your morning routine incredibly simple. It's not fun. It's not exciting. I wish I could tell you, this is the morning routine. We're going to be doing 10 different things, but I just know you're probably not going to stick with that. So keep the main thing, let the morning routine accentuate the main thing and let you do it, and also remember to keep it easy so you actually stick with it. So with all of that really important information said and done, let's roll up our sleeves and start crafting the perfect morning routine. The next step is getting out of bed. See, every single person's morning routine starts with pulling off the covers and getting out of bed, but that's a massive problem for a lot of people. So we've got to identify how can we make getting out of bed effortless. And the way we do that is we identify the causes of effortlessly getting out of bed, but also the blockers, the things that may stop you from doing that. In terms of causes, there are 2 main things. First of all, making sure you're well rested. It's so difficult to get out of bed in the morning if you're tired. So the way we do that is to set a bedtime alarm, figure out when we're going to be going to sleep, and make sure every single day we're getting enough sleep. Going through the day without enough sleep is like impairing yourself in every single way. So we've got to make sure that we're well rested. And the second step is to make sure you've got something excited to get out of bed for. This is slightly more difficult, but we can get around that by either arranging your day so that you do something exciting first, or adding something into your morning routine that you're excited to do. And once we've got the causes and we try and do more of those, we identify the blockers and we try and remove those. For me, a blocker was the room was freezing and it made it more difficult to get out of bed than it needed to. There was 4 ways that I could get around this. Either I would buy a heater and keep the room warm, I could put some warm clothes next to my bed, I could jump in the shower, or I could go monk mode and just embrace and start to love the cold. Whatever the blockers are for you getting out of bed, take some time to think of those things, increase the causes that allow you to get out of bed, and remove the blockers that are stopping you from getting out of bed. And step 7 is to start adding components into our morning routine. At this step, it's to start brainstorming what do we think are activities that are going to allow us to keep the main thing. In the link in the description, there's going to be a list of a bunch of different activities that you can pick from. But the important thing is that you pick them, that you decide to do them. And you're not just doing them because they seem like a bright, shiny object, that they seem like something good. And you've got to keep in mind the 80-20 rule here. You can either put 10 things into your morning routine, which is going to make it boring and difficult to stick to, Or you can just add a couple things into your morning routine. Things that you know for a fact are going to allow you to keep the main thing, and start the morning off by reaching your objective, which is going to allow you to reach your daily objective. Keep things super simple at this point. Don't get crazy complicated. And with the couple of things that you do choose, now it's time for you to set these as a hypothesis, because it may find that it's difficult for you to get out of bed using these things. So instead you should change them to something else. And this is an ongoing process of refinement. I wish I could just tell you this is the morning routine you need. That's what you probably want to hear. But this is the way that you craft a morning routine that actually benefits you and that you actually stick with for years instead of just a day or two. This is what you need to do. This is the process you need to follow, as unsexy as it is. It's absolutely ridiculous to me that people get so obsessed over their morning routines, trying to optimize it, getting angry at themselves when they're not sticking to it. If that's the case, the morning routine is doing you more harm than good. The morning routine is meant to act as lubricant to get you to do the main thing. And if it's distracting you, it's actually taking away from you really achieving the objective for your day. So keep that in mind. And as you're testing these different things, there's not going to be some objective morning routine that is the best. It's going to be subjective. You can't take a subjective experiment and measure that using objective results. Trust me, I've tried to create some complicated AI to calculate a life score to see how well I'm using my time, but you've got to measure subjective things with subjective measures. So it's just going to be something that you feel. Again, not the thing you want to hear, but it is the truth. And before we get into the action items of this video, remember that this process that I've just walked you through isn't just applied to morning routines. You can apply it to evening routines. You've got to first of all remember an objective. Always, whenever you're trying to figure out what you should be doing, how you should be spending your time, you've got to start with the end in mind. Then you think, what are the actions that I need to be taking in order to reach that goal? You accentuate the causes, the things that are going to allow you to do that. You remove the blockers, and then you try and simplify. You apply the 80-20 rule to really think, what are the few things I need to be doing in order to achieve that objective? And counter to the way 99% of the population thinks, happiness doesn't come from the things you do. It more so comes from the way you view the things that you do. We'll cover this more in the Inner Peace in Eastern Philosophy section, but basically you can't pin your happiness on a habit tracker. Happiness comes from the way you view the things you do, not the things you do. And there are 3 action steps that accompany this video. First of all, like normal, let the YouTube algorithm know you want to see the rest of the videos onto your homepage by subscribing if you're new, clicking the like button and commenting saying morning routine. Second of all, in the link in the description, there's a worksheet that you can get that's going to walk you through everything you need to craft your perfect morning routine. Again, I'm not just going to give you some default template that everyone's happy with and say this is what you need to do. This is the way that you start your morning correctly, and this is the way that you be productive and you reach whatever the objective you have for that day is. And the third step, do the morning routine tomorrow. I'll see you in the next video.